Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the SCV Law and Life podcast. Today's guest, first, I'm Mason Rashtian, your host. Today, our guest is Paul Faust. He's an American entrepreneur and business development leader, best known for as being the president and partner of Primary Wave Media, a company specializing in vanity toll-free numbers and branded communication solutions. He's also recognized as a public speaker and advisor on business growth and marketing innovation. Hi, Paul.
How are you? Thanks for having me on.
I'm good.
Excited to meet you and have a chat about whatever we want to talk about.
Well, since this is we just met, why don't you please take some time and tell us what you do?
Okay. Love to do it. Love to do it. So the core business, we actually go by the name Ring Boost now, ringboost.com. And our focus is on voice communication. And how we do that is with phone numbers. It's not just toll-free numbers, it's local numbers, it's easy dial numbers, it's tracking numbers.
Whoops.
Um, that's our specialty. But I've been in the legal industry. We handle every type of client, from local dog walkers to healthcare to roofers to real estate. But I've spent the better part of 20 years deeply embedded in the legal space, mostly personal injury and mass tort. I'm at about 15 conferences a year, at all the mastermind groups and the conferences, and I also work for and support and represent other vendors in the space because I built these great relationships with lawyers all over the country, and their job is to practice law, take care of clients, fight the insurance companies, etc. And I'm out there, so my job has always been, and I've always viewed it as, find the best of breed for these lawyers to use services like Claim Angel, Zip Liens, Nito, and others, and bring them to lawyers. And some of them are companies that I get paid to consult for, and others are just I'm here to help my law firms grow and be eyes and ears for them. So I've been deeply embedded in the space and blessed to be in the space.
Great. So we're going to talk about all of those, but let's start it with the first one. So, Ring Booster. Tell me about that.
Ring Boost. So Ring Boost, it always amazed me that law, let's just talk about law firms. We'll keep it in this circle for now, but it's really any business. You will pick your name, you will pick your domain, you will pick your tagline, your brand, your colors. And my guess is most lawyers will even pick the paint color in their office. They'll pick swatches and go, I like that color. And then they'll let the phone company give them the most random number off the pile. Yep, just give me the next number. And I never understood that. Why wouldn't you pick a phone number that's more memorable, that ties into your brand, that ties into your name, that is easy digits, that makes it easier for someone to reach you, whether you're marketing or not, even a referral business? Hey, I'm looking for a lawyer. I was hurt in an accident. Oh, you got to call my friend Mason. What's his number? I don't know. Now, even if someone goes to Google you, and I'm a big fan of internet marketing, they're going to see your competitors. So
Mhm.
why not have a number that says Get Mason or For Mason or something in your local area code? So we built this massive database of great numbers in both every area code and toll free. And we say to law firms and other businesses, hey, let's help you get a phone number that'll stand out, that'll make it easier for referrals, easier for someone to remember that billboard, that TV commercial. And it's called ringboost.com. People can certainly go to the site and look for a number, or they could reach out to me and my team, and we'll consult and sort of help them pick one. But it's really about, I am a believer, even though I believe in the internet and I believe in social media and Instagram, that nothing will replace human connection via voice. It's intonation, it's immediacy, it's connection. And so that's really what we do as a company. Um, and it's been my specialty. But again, kind of more on the marketing creative side, I help my law firms with so many other things.
So let's take it. Let me ask you this. So some firms like to go like 8 million,
Yep.
right? As far as their number goes. And some firms will go with their name. Like I have a toll free number 855 Mason Law. Would do you have a preference between one of those two? Would be better?
No, so the answer is, and I've watched people talk about this who are not experts. The answer is it depends. They're all good numbers. It There's some markets and communities where digits work better. If someone told me, hey, we're highly targeting the Hispanic community, maybe translation of numbers is different, and so numbers is better than a word. But I also think if your number is Mason Law, right, then is that also your domain? Is it your tagline? Or, Get Mason. If you got the number Get Mason or Mason wins, then I tell guys, own that, right? If it was Get Mason, then don't say call me at Mason Law. Say Get Mason to fight for you, Get Mason. Or if I have a client, John Michael Bailey, uses We Fight, then say We Fight. reinforce the number and the tagline together. Or Mike Morse uses Mike Wins, and his number is 855 Mike Wins. So there's a time and a place for different numbers. If you're operating solely in one small market, then maybe you want a local number. You want to say, hey, I am local to this area. But if you're operating in multiple markets across states, then you might want to toll free. I always recommend both, but there is no perfect answer. Different markets react to different numbers. The key is being memorable, right?
Okay. Do you suggest having more than one memorable number then for different
Yeah, I
audience?
def yes. If I recommend a great local number if you're sort of like your main market is, whatever market you're in, but then you could have a toll free number that'll work outside of those markets. So you could always have both. But it all depends on some firms have multiple offices, you know, multiple states or multiple cities. A toll free might be good for you, but I also recommend having a good local in those markets.
Okay, got it. So it all depends on
It all depends,
state
and I'm
specific.
happy, yeah, on who your firm is, how you market. And I have firms that market, and they want multiple numbers because maybe they want a specific number for car accident cases, but they want another number for dog bite cases or their mass tour campaigns, and they want to be hyper specific, and we could do that too.
Oh, okay. So how did you guys get the numbers? I mean, I,
Um,
because I know if I go in there and try to get some of these value numbers for me, they're not there. So how do you guys have those numbers?
So we're not a carrier. There's people out there that have access to these systems and they've acquired many of the best ones. I have relationships with a lot of those people that have massive lists of numbers.
Okay.
We also have a team that go and work with phone companies to try, the phone companies don't necessarily care. To them, they're just digits. And we can be creative and say, okay, let me see what I can find. And we work with carriers. We can work with individuals that have numbers or people that we know because we've sort of led the industry that have massive lists that are willing to work with us to provide them for our clients. I've done it. I mean, at this point, I've probably worked with, if it's 500 to 1,000 law firms.
Wow.
Yeah,
And
across the country.
how do the fees work for you guys? How do you guys get paid?
Generally, it's kind of what it costs to acquire numbers in times of terms. Some numbers are, it costs me more to acquire from someone because they have a better spelling. But and then we have a standard markup that we make a little bit of money on. But look, there's times where I've worked on numbers I don't charge people for my time, so to speak. So there's firms that have said, hey, we're looking at numbers, and I've worked for weeks and weeks, if not months, trying to get them a number, and we never did business.
Gosh.
So, it's all over the board. You know, is someone a repeat client? Do they need more than one number? Are they buying this? There's no exact science to it. It's like, people say, what's the price of a house? Where's the house? What city? What state? Is it on the beach? Is it 2 blocks off from the beach? Is it 10 miles from the beach, right?
Yeah, it's like the same thing as what's the market today for rates? Depends on your FICO score. What's
Right.
your
There is no exact answer.
yeah. So how did you get into this business? How did you end up with working for attorneys or with attorneys, I should say?
Well, I got into the business because my partner, the CEO of the company, Greg Hammerschlag, was starting this business. He had been in the home healthcare business, got the number 1-800 home care, and it grew his business. So he said, wait a minute, numbers work. Started acquiring other numbers. I met him. He brought me in to help with sales. And I started working the business. And I quickly identified, now we're going back 20 plus years, that in every market I went to, the billboards, the TV, the back of all the yellow pages were all PI attorneys. And I'm like, all right, these guys spend heavy on marketing. Let me get deeply embedded in this space. Let me get to know the community. Let me get to know their concerns, because they obviously care about marketing. Some of the highest pay-per-click terms are PI and mass tort. And so I said, let me embed myself in their world because this will be a great client base. And then when I got embedded in the world, I just met some of my best friends. Most of my best friends are either lawyers or vendors in the space. And I got so infatuated with just the business and the space and all the services, you know, lawyers pay for and get involved in. And then I got more into marketing and helping firms grow by getting them into coaching programs and mastermind programs and finding the best of breed vendors to help, or I like to call them industry partners to help law firms grow. And it just became a sort of my life for the past 20 plus years.
And I expect geographic doesn't matter for you anywhere in the United States.
Anywhere in the U.S. Interestingly enough, yes, it's the same business, personal injury or mass tort, but different markets have different issues. Some have different types of cases, different clientele base, but it's all sort of the same. We are trying to find people who have been hurt. And another thing that people don't understand in marketing for law firms is everybody thinks they're competing with the other law firms in their market, and in one sense, you are. but you're also competing for all of the people that don't hire a lawyer, that just accept insurance company settlement because they think the insurance company is their fan and their friend, and they say, oh, we'll take care of you. So we want to get those people to say, no, wait a minute, you should talk to an attorney, talk to someone who knows this process and knows what they're going to try and do for you to get you the most value out of your cases. But yeah, it doesn't matter across every geography. There is a need.
Got it. So tell us how people can get a hold of you if they wanted to go the Ring Boost route.
They could certainly go to the website, which is ringboost.com. They can email me at paul@ringboost.com. They can call me at 914-200-0013. You could find me at conferences. Again, I'm at most or a lot of the big ones, 15 to 20 a year. And if there's one that you have or that you know about, reach out to me. I'd love to attend. But you can find me on social media. My Instagram handle is at Cool Guy Paul Faust. That was my character's name on The Office. I don't care how you want to reach me. Call me, text me, email me. Let me know how I can help. And I've said this to every lawyer in the business. You're a lawyer. Write up a contract that you will never buy from me. I will sign it. Still call me for help. I believe in this industry. I care about this industry. And I believe a rising tide lifts all boats. I'm here to help lawyers. If I help you grow, it helps other vendors in the space. It helps other clients and it works. So I'm available. I have lawyers that I talk to every week that I've never done business with. They're calling me to say, what conference should I go to? What case management software should I use? What mass tort should I invest in? Hey, do you know how to do a good marketing piece? I am here to be an industry advocate because I care about this industry.
Uh, so before we get into that, I have to go back to what you just said about your character. I'm gonna have to
Yeah.
ask you about it. So tell me
Yeah.
about that.
So, look, I've been an actor my whole life. I was in a performing arts group in high school. Almost dropped out of college to do it. Determined that I didn't have the dedication that most actors do to bartend, drive a cab, waitress, or sleep in a car. So I went and pursued the business route. But now that I have my businesses. Now I can pursue my passion. This one was more. I have relatives who were affiliated with the show, co-creators and producers and actors, and I was in LA on business. They asked me to come to the set, or no, I asked if I can go to the set because I was a fan of The Office. I went to the set, met everybody, and when I met the writers, told them a little bit about me and one of my businesses. And then when I walked out, BJ Novak said that guy's going to be a character on the show. Wrote a part based on me, and the day before they shot, they couldn't find an actor to play me, so they asked me if I would audition to play myself. Only in Hollywood. I got let behind the curtain on one of the greatest shows on television. It was an honor to do, and now I've done. Now I'm doing about 4 or 5 films a year. I just did a pilot, a show called Alley Boy that we're going to try and pitch. I have a movie coming out called Patch, and I'm working on more and more. So it's sort of my. I don't golf, I don't fish, I don't paint, I don't sail. It's my hobby. I love being around creative people and telling story.
Uh,
And interesting enough, the first movie that I produced 90% of my investors were personal injury lawyers that I know from the space. They're all like, yeah, we want to be involved. Some appeared in the movie, some we had character names. One lawyer's daughter worked on the set because she wanted to go to film school. So it's been great to be able to mix my passions.
wow, that's awesome. I've watched a few episodes of The Office, not a whole lot, so I have to figure out which
Me
ones you
too.
like.
Me too. I haven't watched them all.
Okay, so as far as your films, where can people find your films?
My films, so the ones we're doing, Patch, which we won 5 best film, 3 best actors, is going to be up on all the platforms soon. We have a premiere, so it's not out yet. The other ones are all in different stages of development. So if they follow me on Instagram, we'll be posting when things are out, what platforms. Most of them are independent films. They're not for theaters. They're for Amazon, Tubi, Netflix, etc. And we're out there, putting them out now. And there's actually another lawyer in the space that a lot of people know named Don Worley, and him and I are going to be doing a bunch of projects together in 2026 and beyond.
Wow, there you
It's
go.
fun. It's great. And if anybody's interested in the space, come join us. We're actually, we're raising a small amount of money to do these 5 films. And I've had a bunch of lawyers say, I want in, I want in, I want in, because you can come be in it. We can name a character after you. We could drop your law firm's name. It's fun. It's a great way. Look, I love all the social media lawyers do, but not many people care about the 7 things to do if you're in a car accident. It's just how much do they care? But post that you're on set. Hey, I'm on set with Paul Faust. And he's playing me. He's playing a character, Mason. Mason. You can get to have fun with it. It builds your social media. It builds your story, and it's fun, and that will lead to other business. So if anyone's interested, reach out.
Okay, okay, that sounds great. Okay, so now tell us about your public speaking and the other stuff that you do. I know you say you're a vendor, a lot of people. So tell me about that.
Well, because I've never viewed myself as someone who should sells phone numbers. I don't want lawyers to look at me like that way. I'm a resource. And I know a lot of great industry vendors who provide services to lawyers. So I've spent the better part of 5, 6 years connecting lawyers with the best of breed services. I just got off a call with one of them called Claim Angel. Claim Angel has built the greatest platform for pre-settlement funding. Most of the pre-settlement funding companies out in the market are charging ridiculous rates. It's unfair to clients, right? Um, so it's they built this platform sort of like Uber, where you put up your case and the first funder to fund it gets it, but they have to do it at Claim Angel's rate, which is 27.8% simple interest with a 2x cap, significantly lower than the market. So so I'm telling all my lawyer clients, use this platform. It's better money for your clients, right? It gets them more money at the end, and it's actually the only ethical solution because you, as a lawyer, have a fiduciary and ethical responsibility to the lowest rates you know about. So that's a great company. And what's great about Claim Angel is you don't have to buy anything. You're not signing up. You're not signing a contract. You're just using this platform. So that's one that I work with. Zip Liens is a company that does outsourced lien resolution. Been working with them. I work with another company that I met through a Mickey Love called Nito, and they do AI call agents for inbound, outbound calls and inbound, outbound texts. And I think they're the best in the business. So I call my lawyer and say, hey, I found this great company. You should look at them. It's going to help your firm run more efficiently. Or firms, look, I think one of the number one signs of a successful firm is a firm that's in a coaching program, a mastermind program. If you look at the biggest firms in markets, they all have coaches and masterminds. People who have been there, done that, help organize numbers and process and systems. And there's great ones like Mike Morse's Fireproof or Accelerate or Ken Hardison's Pilma. So I'll talk to lawyers, say, tell me, don't worry about what I sell. Tell me about what your problems are and let me guide you. Hey, you should be at this conference. There's great conferences in the industry, but there's different conferences for different purposes. Are you trying to send trial lawyers? Or you're trying to send marketers? Are you trying to send the CEO? Is it your intake? So I like to be viewed as a resource in the industry to sort of, guide people. And then business comes back around to me and it's awesome. I love it.
Do you see a trend coming up as far as how where we going?
Oh, I see. It's not a trend. I see a perfect storm hitting the market. And one of the quotes that I tell everybody, and it actually comes from my martial arts instructor, Mike Lee Kanarick, is a tree with strong roots doesn't fear the storm. Okay. If you have strong roots, we have a storm coming in this industry.
Right.
And it's maybe a three-pronged approach, almost like the perfect storm. What do I mean by that? We have unlimited capital coming into the space, right? We have, because of ABSs and non-lawyer ownership of law firms, et cetera, private equity is looking at our space going, oh my God, look at the returns here. Look at look how much money these guys are making. Look at the returns on a case. So we have unlimited amounts of capital coming into the space. That's, you know, both promising and scary. It's scary because they can outspend people when it comes to pay-per-click and billboards and TV and paying salaries. And that's happening across the country. We have firms going national. We have big brands coming out that are going, whether it be your John Morgan or Top Dog or others that are expanding into multiple markets. We have the advent of AI, which is coming into the space, which is doing a lot of services that were typically done by lawyers or paralegals, demand letters, research, pulling medical records. We see all that coming in. And at the same time, we also see technology in cars and advancement like your Waymos and others with autonomous driving and maybe no drivers and technology so cars don't collide. So there's a lot of stuff going on in the industry at the same time. And I think firms have to, you could bury your head in the sand and say, no, nothing's going to happen to me. I'm good. Or you could just prepare for it. You could start looking at it and saying, okay, I understand the money's coming in. AI is changing things. There's this. Where could I adapt? Where could I adjust? And where could I grow? And where can I build my brand to protect myself from some of these things?
Okay, two things. Number one is I don't think in California you're allowed to still uh, invest or work with a law firm unless you're an attorney. Is that
Yeah,
different?
what I've heard, again, I'm not an expert on ABSs, but there's some states that are starting to fight back against this concept. But I've also believed that, I'm kind of one of those believers that you can't put toothpaste back in a tube. And people will find a way. whether it be through separate entities, MSOs, master service organizations, and firms. Like, they've opened the door. There's people in it already. There's billions of dollars coming in. So we just have to learn how to work with it and how firms can profit from it and make money and turn to these people for sources of capital. It costs a lot of money to run a law firm, and a lot of money to market. So we just, what I'd recommend firms do is start showing up at these conferences that are talking about MSOs and ABSs and outside capital. Start learning where the opportunities are and where they're not, and how to protect yourself from making the wrong decision and putting your bar card at risk.
Yeah, God, I hope they don't allow that to happen. I mean, I don't want private non-attorneys being involved in what we do.
Yeah,
That is a bad idea. It's to me, it sounds like when the Supreme Court just allowed gambling to go across line, and now everybody and their mother is gambling on football and everything else. I think it's a bad idea. It's
look,
going to create a lot of problems.
here's what I don't disagree with you. But I think Gary Vaynerchuk said it once. Like, someone said, raise his hand, said, "Well, I don't like Facebook." And Gary said, "Well, okay, Harold, but no, but Facebook doesn't care what you like, right?" Unfortunately, money and industries don't care if you and I or other lawyers don't like it. It's going to do what it does. My concerns with it is, I believe that you're a personal injury attorney and you got into the business because you love the law, and you got into personal injury because you care about representing people that have been hurt, killed, their lives have been destroyed. That's your passion, and you're allowed to make a living doing that. Money, their priority is returns. How much money do I put out, and what's my ROI? It's less about the human being and the hurt and the trauma and the destruction. And so, do we want the industry led by people who are looking at an ROI versus taking care of the aggrieved? Can we have both? Absolutely. But that's way above my pay grade. And the reality is, it doesn't matter what we like or don't like. If it's happening, we have to prepare ourselves for it. Firms have to be prepared to live in that environment, right? Um, and then see what happens. And maybe states will ban it and start blocking it. But then who knows what the next iteration is. So,
So how do people like me, solo practitioners and small firms, how are we going to be able to compete with those big dollar firms?
look, look. Ultimately, in some areas you can't, meaning you can't compete with them, and don't try to out billboard them or out TV advertise them. You're not going to. But remember, these big firms, a lot of them coming out in the marketplace, and even a lot of the national players, whether it be even your John Morgans or others, or Top Dog, they're great at marketing, and they need guys like you that know the law that they could send cases to, build relationships with them. They're not handling everything in house. They might be really strong in coming into markets and marketing and advertising, but there's lots of cases that they send out. So you might want to come to John Morgan's got a great event coming up in Vegas. I could send you information. Go there and meet people and say, "Look, I'm a trial lawyer. I'm a personal injury lawyer. I would love to take cases from you." Right? Let them do the advertising dollars. Work out a relationship where you're fee sharing legally, because these are law firms, and say, I am this. I am a trial lawyer. I handle this. I'd love to take work from you." There's a lot of firms that are looking to offload these cases to people. Maybe it's more than they can handle. Maybe it's something they don't specialize in. That is somewhere where, if I'm a solo guy, I would be building those relationships and raising my head. They probably don't know you exist. Raise your hand. Say, "Here I am. This is my background. You can look at my firm, look at my results, look at my trial, history or whatever, or my, what I do and how I handle this. I'd love your business," and work with them. That's one way. Another way is embed yourself in your community. Big dollars can come in and run billboards and TV and radio, but they might not be micro. They might not be at the local restaurants. They might not be on the PTA and the school board. And they might not be doing charity events for the local dog charity. Get so embedded in your community that your community knows you. When you're walking down the street, they go, "Oh, that's Mason. He's the this guy. He's the lawyer, blah, blah, blah." They can't do that as well as you can in a smaller market. They could do it over a big market. So I would make sure I own my community. I would do things. I would, my podcast, I'd be going to my local churches and synagogues, and I'd be going to doing local dogs, sponsoring school events. Like, everyone in the community would know what I do, and that I'd be a resource for them. So that, A, gives me business in my community, and B, might make me someone that one of these firms with big dollars says, "Hey, we'd love to roll you in because you are great in this community." That's options too. The one thing we can't do is ignore it.
Got
Say,
it.
it's not going to affect me. It will.
Do you? I'm assuming as a resource, you'd have people who work remotely, as far as like paralegal and
Sure.
work like that. Okay.
Absolutely. There's an unbelievable, what I call them industry partners. I hate the term vendors because they're integral parts of law firms that do anything, whether it be medical records,
Mhm.
paralegal work. Yes, I know lots of them. And for solo firms, they use a lot of these people so they can take more business and outsource things they're not the best at. And there's companies that are great at it.
Okay. Great. So, what else do you do? So you do a
What
lot of stuff. I know, but I want to find out. Again, it's my first time talking to you, so
what don't I do? I'm willing to look. I didn't read the book that said you have to do one thing in life. Like I don't. You shouldn't identify as a personal injury
yeah,
attorney. You should identify as Mason. I'm not trying to say you're not Russian.
Rashtian, yeah.
Russian. Like one of the things I do is I'm an attorney, but like I do a lot of things. I do a lot of charity. I was a volunteer firefighter for over 15 years.
Tell me about
Um,
that.
like I just I want to live like my license plate is BYLR. Came from Jesse Itzler's program, Build Your Life Resume, which is now Big Ass Calendar Club. And I don't care about your, I'm not saying I don't care. When I said I mean it, I don't care about you that you've tried a lot of cases and made $1 million settlements. So is every other lawyer. Tell me where you've traveled. Tell me what books you've read. Tell me what languages you speak. Tell me what charities you do. I want to know about your life. Build your life resume. And to me, that means not just focusing on work and one thing. I wanted to be an actor. I want to make movies. People are like, you can't do that. I'm like, why not? I want to. Like,
Mhm.
go do it. So I like that's what I do, and I ran a charity for the American Cancer Society for 4 or 5 years in New York, and now I'm helping out other groups, and like I love trying new things and living this. I don't. I just. I think the model's broken where people I work Monday to Friday all day long doing this one thing head down and then hopefully have a couple hours on the weekend to enjoy life. No, go do it now. We're not guaranteed tomorrow. So if you want to go hike a mountain, go hike a mountain. It would with technology and cell phones, unless you're in court, you could do a mediation or a deposition from a ski cabin. Put up a fake background so no one knows you're on a chairlift. I was just in Key West with some lawyers and other industry partners, and there was plenty of meetings going on and mediations and talk from. But then when it was done, we were able to go out and do some fishing. So I what do I do? What don't I do? I
Yeah.
train
So
martial arts. I make movies. I love
yeah,
I just try to live a life for a living, if that makes sense.
yeah. So tell about the martial arts. What do you? Which one is it?
So I do Israeli martial arts. I did what was called Krav Maga for many
Uh,
years, but now
I
my instructor he's adapted it and he's created his own style called Haganah. So he took the best parts of Krav Maga that he liked and then brought in his own striking, which is Muay Thai, and his own weapon systems, knives and guns. And so he's created his own system called Haganah. His name's Mike Lee Kinerick. And so I train a lot of that, but I've also done some other boxing. But to me, again, it's not to fight. I
right.
just find it fascinating. Some people practice jujitsu because it's fascinating. They're not. I don't know one person who's a friend of mine that practices jujitsu or martial arts that goes out, gets in fights. It's knowledge. It's learning. It's
Right. I did Krav Maga years ago for about a year. Oh my
where.
God, it's intense out here in Santa Clarita.
Okay. Yep.
Um, oh my God, it's intense. Holy moly! I would come home, my knuckles would be bloodied, my face would be white. My wife would say, "What the hell are you
Yeah.
doing over there?"
It's funny because I joke about it. I also play softball, still play competitive softball, but I play in a co-ed league. But through my 56 now, I have dislocated my shoulder, broken my wrist, um, torn my ankle, bloody noses, black eyes, every single one of them from softball. No serious injuries from my martial arts. If you train with the right people, you get knocked up a little bit, of bruise, you get hit by accident, but it's just to me, it's the only time I'm not stressed. I love to just get the release and learn and train and help stay in shape. I'm on decline maintenance at this point in my life.
So dude, I'm 57, so we're about the same age. How come you have so much more energy than I do?
I can tell you why. You know why?
Tell me.
You're not going to believe the answer. I'll bet you it's because you speak wrong. Most people I know, and they go, man, Paul, I'm so tired. I'm so tired. How come you're not tired? I'm like, because you keep saying you're tired. Your um, spoken word, okay, is what dictates your life. Your brain doesn't know sarcasm. Your brain's a computer. It takes the inputs you give it. So if you say, I'm tired, your brain goes, oh, he said, I'm tired. I should start shutting down. Oh, I'm really tired. Oh, I'm really tired. Don't say you're tired. Somebody asks you how you're doing, say, I'm outstanding. So I learned this lesson. So this group I told you about with Jesse Itzler, Build Your Life Resume, Big S Calendar Club, he had a coach that he brought in, and I did the same exact lesson Jesse did. Um, I used to run 3 miles. I could not run more than 3 miles. Like the first half mile, I was dying, and then my lungs got into it. By mile two, I was getting exhausted. Two and a half, I'm almost dead. Three, I would fall across the 3 mile line and couldn't breathe. You need a defibrillator. Then I listened to one of the coaches that Jesse brought in, Chad Wright, a retired Navy SEAL, and Jesse had the same issue where he couldn't run a certain. I listened to one lecture that they talked about this story. 3 weeks later, I went out and I ran a half marathon. And the only reason I stopped was because my daughter really needed a ride. So I ran over 13 miles. And the only thing I did differently is I was talking to myself wrong. I was saying I'm a 3 mile runner. So my brain was shutting me down at 3 miles because I had told it that. So now I went running, and every time I saw someone, I'm like, I feel outstanding. I'm a machine. I don't get tired. It's really weird. I don't get tired. I'm a machine. I feel outstanding. And I kept running. So then the lesson there is if I was under indexing my run by 4x, where else am I under indexing my life? Is it um, friendships, business, relationships, charity? How you speak. Your tongue is your rudder. Watch how you speak. And there's simple lessons. Again, this took 8 to 10 years of fighting massive anxiety and panic attacks to say, I have to think of another way. And once I learned it, and you start speaking it, you get happy. You'll have more energy. You'll sleep less. I don't take sick days. I don't think I've ever had a sick day because I don't speak it. And people are, how do I get started? How do I get started? I say, here's the first one. Try this. And then you and I will talk later. For the next 30 days, start tonight. Before you go to bed tonight, say out loud 3 things today that you are grateful for. And don't think them. Say it out loud. The power of the spoken word. So I will say, I am grateful that I was invited on this podcast. I'm at Mason, great single landlord. Hopefully, build a relationship with them. That I am grateful today that my pool's almost done in the backyard. That speak 3 things from today that you are grateful for, and watch how you rewire your brain to be more grateful. You will start being. You will actually create new synapses in your brain. You will be more grateful. You will stop seeing the negative. So and this is something anyone could do. It doesn't cost money. So I have this energy because I'm excited. I can't wait to wake up. I'm like, yeah, I got another one. And these are all lessons I've learned. A lot of it from the coaching program of Jesse Itzler. It changed my life.
Wow. So, we already know about your acting, which is your hobby. What else do you like to do besides, martial arts and other stuff that you do? Is there any other hobby that you do?
My kids and my family. I have 2 kids, but I also want to tell me a little about you at least. I mean, I know this is your podcast listeners, but tell me. You said you're single at Ben. You're a personal injury. Is that all you do?
That's all I do. I've been this for 28 years.
Wow.
I started as a defense attorney for the first 9 years, and I opened my office 20 years ago.
Good for you. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And what else do you do besides personal injury attorney? I know you tried Krav Maga for a year.
Well, we do like to travel. We're getting to it more and more. So every year
Love
we
it.
go to Hawaii at least once or twice a year.
To
Maui's my
Hawaii.
place. Yeah, Maui's my place. Love going to England. Did that a couple years ago. We want to go to Scotland at some point in the next couple of years.
It's interesting. When I travel, I want to see everything, so I hate going to the same place twice. Not because I haven't found a place that I love, but there's so much of the world I want to see. And I encourage people, if there's somewhere you want to see, go do it right now. We're not guaranteed about tomorrow.
Yeah,
I don't I have a very interesting relationship with time where I've learned to think about it differently and pay attention to how many times I have left. I'm 56, and I'll give you an example. Let's just say that I love hiking a real solid mountain. That's my hobby. I could probably do that once a year, right? Maybe twice if I'm lucky with vacations where I can go to a great mountain and hike a real mountain, right? Okay, I'm 56. Let's say that my knees and my back and my body will allow me to do that till I'm 66. Before it's harder to do that stuff. Well, that's 10 years. And if I get 2 a year in, that's 20 more times.
right.
When you start thinking about things in times, it puts a lot in perspective. So you could bet you when I go on that hike, I'm enjoying that hike. I'm not calling the office. I am going to live and be present on that hike because now after this one, I got 19 more. And I
Right.
put a lot of my things in my life, seeing my friends, seeing my family into that perspective of time. Makes you more appreciative of those moments.
I know. I don't want to be the guy who counts summers, how many summers I might have, but I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
You have to just, you don't want to count summers, but you have to be aware. So, if you go see your parents, you only see your parents once a year and your parents are in their 80s, you might have 10 times left. So when you go see your parents, don't watch TV. Don't be on the phone. Um, Enjoy those moments. That's why when I go to conferences, like I don't know if I'm going to see people again, so I want to spend every moment with people. I'm just aware of that, and
Mhm.
it wasn't an epiphany. It was years of thinking about living life differently and thinking
Right.
differently and acting differently because I was battling, anxiety and whether I was doing things right, and then it became like, wow. Once the light switch went off, I'm like, man, this world's great.
There you go. So like sports. Do you like sports?
I like playing sports. I'm not as big a fan of watching them. I mean, I'll watch them to hang out with the fellas and but I like play softball. Tennis, pickleball. Martial arts. Growing up, I played soccer and other things. But there's nothing I won't do. If someone says, "Hey, we're going to go try highlight," I'll try anything.
But do you have a favorite sports teams that you follow?
Uh, No, like when I was in New York, obviously I was a Yankees fan. But now that I live down here, I think the only team I watch a little bit more is the Panthers because I live in Florida now and it was close to my house. So I used to go to games and they won the Stanley Cup twice. So it's hard not to get into them. But no, I'm not a diehard of any team. I It's funny. I could watch a football game between Western Mississippi Art College and North Dakota Technical Institute. And if I put $25 bet on the game, I get yelled. I'm mad at these college kids when they jump off sides. Like, so I don't really care, but it just makes it fun to watch. If you put $20 on the game, then I'm
Uh,
yelling at people for making a bad call. Like, why didn't you run? Meanwhile, I've never played organized football in my life, but now all of a sudden I'm coaching.
yeah, see, I can never put money on a game because then it takes the whole joy of it away. Even, I used to do fantasy football and I stopped because, for one thing, it is really hard, fantasy football compared to the other ones. But then number two is, then you get players who are getting against your team that you like. So it's like, okay, who do I root for?
Who
My
do
team
I
is there. Yeah. So
Yeah, for me, it just makes it fun to watch us because
yeah,
otherwise, I really don't care about guys, playing basketball. I'd rather go outside and have a catch
right.
with someone. Like I don't want to watch, but you do it. It's something to do with the fellas, and get together, watch a game. But I don't have any. I'm not a diehard, you know, sport fan. I love art. I'm really, people know me. I love buying art. I'm addicted to art because I just surround myself with cool stuff, and it's become a passion of mine. And I'm trying to learn more and more about it. But again, like I just want to try new things, and who knows? Tomorrow, maybe I'll be in a ballet.
Got it. So, art, are we talking about painting, sculpture?
Mostly paintings, of paintings or prints. A lot of pop style art. Mr. Brainwash, Hijack. I have Eva Derry, James and Queen. I mean, I just keep buying. I just bought a Vizino, and I got a thing by Patrick Hughes and Yaniva Derry and uh, uh, Nick VC. Like Eric, my wife just keeps yelling at me. She's like, "What are you doing? We have no wall space left." I'm like, "I don't care. I like looking at it."
Got it. Okay. So tell me, as you sit here today, if you were to meet your 10-year-old self, 10-year-old Paul, what one advice would you give him?
You are enough. You are enough. Do not compare yourself to others. Don't try and be everybody else. Live your life. Go your path. Be who you want to be, and don't listen to the naysayers because most of them are either afraid to take the steps you had. They're not living in your shoes. Just follow your path, not the path of anybody else. I think we spend so much time trying to impress people that in the long run don't mean much to us. And I think you don't learn that till later. Go march to your own drummer. I think I'd be like that, and I think I'm doing it now. But for a while, you're trying to impress the popular kids, the popular girl, the what I'm supposed to do for my parents. I'm supposed to have this kind of work. No, just go live your life because you only get one go around. You don't know when the bus ride's over.
All right, great advice. Thank you again for being a guest. You were awesome. Please give your information out again. Whoever wants to get a hold of you, what's the best
So
way?
name's Paul Faust. You can email me at paul@ringboost.com. Call me 914-200-0113. 13 is my lucky number. Instagram at cool guy Paul Faust. Reach out to Mason to find me. Any way you want to find me. LinkedIn. I think I might still have a MySpace page. Call me. I love to talk to people. I love to connect with new human beings and help out, and we'll find synergies of way. I don't believe in what goes around comes around. I believe in what goes around has to go somewhere. So let's just all look, I have tattoos on my arm. One says live your life with arms wide open, and one says no 0 days. Don't have a 0 day. Enjoy your life and live your life this way. Welcome everybody in. Um, and look forward to connecting with any of your followers, listeners.
Great, thank you. And for those of you who are watching, if you like, please follow us on Instagram and our channel. Thank you so much. Nice talking to you, Paul.
Thanks, Mace.